All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. So, here we are at November 19th of 2022, and you can see we've had a couple of CMEs, one there and one here. And I'll let the loop play a couple of times so you guys can take a peek at what's going on in there. See if you can spot it before I point it out. Two beautiful CMEs and what appears to be an object caught right here and an object caught right there. So we'll go through these frame by frame here in a minute, and I'll start pointing out these things to you. So welcome to all the people that are showing up in the chat here. Thank you for coming by to visit my stream here. So here we go. Let's get into it. So one thing I want to point out before we go into this, watch this one. At the very end, there's a bow shock, a V-shaped black bow shock when the plasma catches up to it at the end. All right. And then now let's start going frame by frame here. And we'll come down here. Just bear with me for a second. So, boom. So let's back up to our opening frame. So here we are. Our opening frame is already at 4 hours and 12 minutes. So we're missing some data on this, but that's okay. We caught the event. That's all that matters. So as we start to progress through this, I want you to watch as this little object comes out. Notice over here on this side, all this white plasma, and there's this dark patch right here. That's where the object is. These objects are super dark, and they don't really show up in here, but they do show up as a dark patch. So watch both sides as that progresses out. Now you can see the instrument reacting to it here as it progresses out. All right, so let's back up here. We're going to start zooming in on this and take it one frame at a time. So let me pull the magnifier over. Start getting into it here. Okay, pull this out of the way. All right, as we progress through this series, you can see here's our little object. And here in this frame, you can make out this nice round magnetic field around it. It's a little magnetosphere. And you can clearly see here's our object right in the middle. Let me pull this up to center the screen just a little bit. Tilt it down just a little bit. All right, let me zoom in on this just a tad bit more for you guys because I want you to see nice and clear how perfectly round this black sphere is. It has some kind of magnetic field, and you can see it's interacting with the plasma of the sun. The sun goes and drapes all the way around this magnetic field, and as this object moves out, it's pulling plasma with it, and you can see this plasma dammed up behind it as it moves out. Let me take this out of the way there. So let me back up a couple here. So as this object emerges, you can see that it's bringing out all this plasma behind it. And now you can see it's right here, and the instrument's reacting to it too. Let's back up a frame. You can make out this nice like dent right here, and you can make out the top of the object right here. The front side of it's draped with a little plasma, but you can still make out the top of the object right there. Let me try something real quick. Does that help? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so you can clearly see we had an object there cause that CME. And as we back out, let's back up a couple of frames to this one right here. That was the thumbnail. And I want to do this just a little bit. Just bear with me for a second here as I try to do this, because I want to point something out. I want to point out how this looks like an eyeball with the pupil right here. You can make out the iris right there. Here's the eyeball and everything, the corner and the pit of the eye. That would be the eyelid. Let me pull this out of the way. Well, you can see that up here would be an eyebrow. This almost looks like this giant eye. That's why I entitled this God's Eye, because it does. It looks like a giant eyeball with an iris and a pupil, an eyelid, an eyebrow, and everything. And as we pull back, and zoom out here a little bit, I want you to look at this eye and imagine if it was an eye, would that be a happy looking eye or maybe an angry looking eye? Anyhow, that's the first CME. Let's pull this back down and continue on as that one progresses out. We have another CME that erupts from over here. Here we go. And again in this one is another object captured right here. Well, let me scroll this down. Let me zoom this in. You guys can't see this. I'm not doing a very good job here. Let's zoom in. There we go. All right. Here's our object right here. We'll back up a little bit. You can watch this progress as it comes out. Then, as this plasma catches up to it, here's our object. There's plasma built up behind it, and this next surge of plasma is coming out faster than this object's moving, and it'll bypass this object and create a V-shaped bow shock at the very end. Right here, this black structure going both ways. Here's our object right here in the middle, and now plasma is passing it faster than it's going out, leaving this V-shaped bow shock on it as it goes. So let's back that series up real quick. I want you to see as this object comes out, plasma catches up and starts to pass it, creating that bow shock. Whoops, one more time, back up. Okay. And it's really hard to see. There appears to be a secondary one right here. It's really faint. It's hidden in the plasma, but this one is definitely there, easier to see, and you can even see how the plasma builds up and then starts to pass it and creating that bow shock. Okay, so let me just slide down here, put this into motion. Whoopsie, wrong direction. There we go. Now watch this upper CME as it comes out. Watch the motion of this object as it moves. And then watch how this plasma bow shock forms at the end there. Okay. So as we back out of that, so we've had two CMEs, good sized ones, both induced by these objects. And something I want to do too is let's go over to stereo A, because stereo A captured a pretty good shot of this event. Let the loop play on that one real quick. It doesn't have all the data either, but it does have the data we do need. So let's pause it right here. We'll go to this first CME here, or the one we were just reporting on. And you can see here's the little small object. Here's the bigger object that was up top that I talked about. Now we're going to zoom in on this. Yeah, it's good right there. Okay, I think you can see it pretty clearly now. Here's the one object, and then here's that upper one that I said that was really faint that you couldn't see it, but stereo A got a better angle on it. So here's that upper object, and then the core object that we were watching is right there. Whoops, okay. Run that little series real quick so you can see it. And then, if my camera will capture this, I want to go try the red side over here because it captured it too. Where'd it go? Alright. At the very end of this segment here, let me just zoom in a little bit. Hopefully I don't lose quality. You can make out our object is right here. It's this little bright spot. It coincides with this object on this side right here. So as we back out, well, we'll go forward just another. No, that was the last frame. But now, in this frame, let's pull back and center this again. I want you to look at this lower object and how crystal clear Stereo A captured this image this time. Let me back out of it real quick. Boom. And then go in. Alright. So here we are. That other object. Here's our object. Here's the magnetic field around it. Nice clear image of this magnetic field around it with our object nice and clear right in the middle of it. And let me back out because that looks a little blurry to the camera. Okay, so now you see it on that side. Nice and crystal clear. And that's Stereo A just reaffirming what we saw on the other satellite. These two kind of reaffirm each other when they catch these objects. And look over here. Again, here's our object, and it's this dark patch. There's a definite dark patch with a bunch of plasma all around it, which paints this object. I can't tell you enough how well. It was just that one frame that Stereo A got of this event, but it's a good one because it's a nice clear image over on this side, and you can see over here we have this dark patch surrounded by all this plasma. It's like an invisible table. When you throw a tablecloth on it, it paints the curvature and the corners and the texture and everything. So just had to bring this to you guys because this is getting crazy. And when we got signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and I'm told to bring this stuff to you, and when I see images like this right here, that one God's eye image, let's back it up. This right here, this image is just spooky. Let me just pull it up a little bit there. I'll let you guys look at that as we close out. So yeah, 3 objects here. This one and the other event had like 2 in them. So the activity's picking up again. It's becoming a daily event with multiple objects like we had in prior to this. So this activity's ramping up again, and it's even showing signs in it too. So I think that's it for tonight. I just wanted to bring that to you, and let's zoom in just a little bit more and look deep into the eye of God. He doesn't look too happy. All right, well, that's it for tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. I miss you all. And until my next video, bye.